Hari Om girls, welcome you all to the next session on Python programming course. We are in the fifth module, and in our previous two sessions we talked about what do you mean by GUI programming, then how GUI is handled in Python programming language using tkinter. Then we also talked about how the tkinter can be installed in Ubuntu. Then we had seen some of the basic elements of tkinter GUI is the window, and we have other GUI elements inside the window such as text boxes, labels, etc. Then we had seen how the GUI application can be developed using tkinter. What are the different steps? So this is one of the very simple GUI application which can be developed that displays a window like this with a title. Then we had seen what are the list of tkinter widgets that are available. So these are some of the widgets that are available in the tkinter module. So each widget is used for a particular purpose. So that was also discussed in our previous session. Then we started with the button widget. We had seen what is the purpose of button widget, what is the syntax used for creating a button widget. Then we had also discussed what are the possible options that are available for the button widget. So these are the possible options, and what is the purpose of the option was also listed in this particular document. As an example, we had seen how a button widget can be created on a window and how it will respond for the click event. All those things we discussed in our previous session, and these are the two methods that are available for the button widget. So invoke is used for calling the button's callback function, and it will be returning whatever the function returns. Whereas the flash method will cause the button to flash several times between the active and normal colors. Then we had also seen what do you mean by geometry management, which is concerned completely about the layout of the widgets, how the widgets are placed on the window or on the parent widget, right? So what are the different methods of specifying the geometry management for organizing the widgets? That was discussed in our previous session. So these are the three important geometry managers that are available: pack method, grid method, and place method. And we had seen a simple example of having the 4 different button objects displayed with the pack method, with the grid method, and the place method. Then we talked about what is the purpose of having the pack method, what are the different options available for the pack method. Some of the examples of the pack method we had discussed. Then the grid method, which will organize the widgets in a table like structure, and here the position will be defined by the row and a column number. And the syntax of the grid method with various options. Then an example to show how the grid method will lay the label objects. So this many number of label objects we are creating, and each label object will be placed in the window using the grid method, where we specify the row number and column number. So this is another good example of how the labels and entry boxes can be laid on the window using the grid method. Then the third method is the place method, which is used to organize the widgets by specifying the position, the exact position on the parent window. The position can be an absolute position or it can be a relative position. The syntax is also displayed here, and these are the list of possible options we discussed in the last session. And this is one good example which you can take for the place method. So how the place method values the x and y values changes the position of the widget, and this is a relative one. The advantage here is the relative will be changing the position of the widget according to the size of the window. Right? So when the size of the window is maximized, minimized, or when you resize the window, automatically the widget position will be adjusted. Whereas here the widget position will never be adjusted because it is specifying the exact position, x-axis and y-axis position. But relative, based on the height and width of the window as well as the button, it will be relatively changing the position of that particular widget. And in this video we are going to discuss some of the other widgets called as canvas widget, entry widget. Let us start with canvas widget. So canvas widget is used to draw some shapes. Suppose if you want to draw a line, or you want to draw a rectangle, or if you want to draw an arc, then you can use a canvas widget which will help you to draw different shapes. And the canvas widget is used to add the structured graphics, right? So like rectangle, polygons, ovals, these are the structured graphics that are available. And if you want to add those structured graphics, you can use the canvas widget, right? So you want to draw a graph, or you want to plot a graph, or for all these things you can use this canvas widget. And as usual, this is the syntax of the widget. All the widgets, if you have observed, all the widgets will have the parent object on which the widget is to be placed as the first argument, and the second and the forthcoming arguments will be the options, right? List of possible options which are again optional, right? All these options are optional and they are all key value pairs, right? If you have observed, all the widgets will have the widget name, then it will have the parent, right, which can be a parent window or a parent widget, right? And list of possible options will be given for each and every widget. And let us see what are the list of possible options of canvas widget. So these are the list of possible options for canvas widget. I have BD, which will specify the border width, background, then confine. It is set to make the canvas unscrollable, right? So if you want to make the canvas unscrollable and it must be confined to that particular region, then you can use the confine option. Then cursor, this is used as the arrow, circle, dot, etc. on the canvas if you want to draw. Then you can specify the height and width of the canvas. Then you can also specify the highlight color. So it represents the highlight color when the widget is focused. So when you focus it, right? So using either a tab button or using the mouse, if you focus the canvas widget, what kind of color you want for the widget. Then you can also have the X scroll increment, X scroll command, etc. If the X scroll increment value is set to a positive value, the canvas is placed only to the multiple of this particular value. Whereas if it is negative, generally it will be a positive value. Then if you have the X scroll command, the canvas will be scrollable, right? So like that you have this many number of possible options available for the canvas widget. So depending upon the requirement, you can specify whether the options should be mentioned in the syntax or not. So let us see an example of the canvas widget. Yeah, before looking into the example, let us see what are the common drawing methods that are available in the canvas widget. So these are the drawing methods available. You can create an oval, or you can create an arc, a line, rectangle, polygon, or an image. These are the things that can be drawn on the canvas, right? So if you want to create an oval, then you have to specify the coordinates, and the x and y coordinates of the left top corner and x and y coordinate of the right bottom corner must be specified, and some of the options can also be given. Or if you want to create an arc, then again for the arc also you can specify the coordinates and the start value and to where it has to be extended, then the color of filling, right? So these are some of the options. As I said, these options are here. You will specify the x0 y0 value and x1 y1 value, right? Both the coordinates. Along with the coordinates, you can also specify the options like this, right? So you have n number of options available. Then if you want to create a line, you can use this particular method. Again, the coordinates along with the options. Or if you want to create a rectangle, then you can specify the coordinates along with the options. Or if you want to specify a polygon, you can have n number of coordinates. So depending upon the number of coordinates, it will draw a particular polygon, right? So it may be a rhombus, or it may be a rectangle, a square, or it may be a pentagon, octagon, whatever you want, you can draw depending upon the number of coordinates you are going to give. Then you have image creation. So if you want to create an image or display an image on the canvas, you have to do this thing, because either you have to specify a bitmap file or you have to specify a photo image file as an argument to the create image function. So what I do, I first create a photo image object where I specify what can be the file name, right? So the file name, again it can be a relative path of the file name, or it can be an absolute path of the file name, right? So here I am using a relative path, and this will be the file or the image file which is used to create a photo image, and file name is the photo image object that has this particular GIF image. Okay, and then I am going to create the image by specifying the position where you want to display the image and the anchor, then specify the image as this particular file name, so that it will be creating a image on the canvas, right? So these are some of the common drawing methods that are available on the canvas widget. Then you can observe here, so this is a very good example for showing how the arcs can be drawn on the canvas. As usual, I create a window and create the window with a title, and I am going to create a canvas. I create a canvas by specifying what is the background color, what is the height and width of the canvas. I create a canvas. So after creating the canvas, what I do, I specify some coordinates. Because if you want to create an arc, you have to specify the coordinates first, right? You have to specify the x0, y0, x1, y1 coordinates, then you have to give the start and extent, right? So what I do, I specify the coordinate as a separate variable, and then I create the arc by giving the coordinates, all these four values, x0, y0, x1, y1. Then I give the start value right from the 0 degree angle to 150. I am going to draw an arc, and I fill it with red color. And if you observe here, this is how the arc will be created for the given values. Then what I do, I just pack the canvas. So by default, the packing will be done in the center, you know that. Then I am going to create the second canvas with the background color yellow, and height and width same, 150 and 200 as the height and width. Okay. Then as usual, if you want to create an arc in this particular canvas also, you need to specify the coordinates. So I specify the coordinates. These 4 values become the coordinates. Then start and extend value I am giving, and I am filling it with red color, and I am packing the canvas here. Right? So this is a simple program that shows how the canvas object can be created. Once you create the canvas object, on the canvas you can draw any kind of shape. So here I am drawing an arc. Let us see another example. So in this example again I am creating 2 canvases. After creating the canvas, in the first canvas I am drawing a line, and in the second canvas I am drawing a rectangle. So if you observe here, the first part of the program creates the window with a specific geometry, and then I am giving a title here. I create a canvas. The first canvas I am creating with the magenta as the background color. Then I give the height and width. Then using the create line function, I am creating a line on the canvas with the 4 different coordinates x0, y0, x1, y1, and I specify the dashed line with 4, 2. Right? So this is the kind of option I am specifying for creating the line. Then I pack the canvas. Then I create the second canvas again with different color, and I am creating a rectangle here. After creating the rectangle, I am giving the coordinates. For creating the rectangle, I am giving the 4 different coordinates, and I specify the outline value, and I am going to fill it with this particular color. So, and you can observe here, this is the hexa value I am going to specify for the color. So instead of giving the color like this, you can specify the color like this also. So this must be the outline color, and this must be the fill color. So since both are same, it is giving you the same color. If you try changing the colors here, you can observe the outline color will be different and the fill color will be different. So once I create the canvas, then draw the rectangle, I am going to add it, or I am going to pack it in the window. Right? So this is another simple example you can have for the canvas widget. Now the next widget that we are going to discuss is the check button widget. You know what is a check button? You are already experienced creating a check button. So check button widget is used to display number of options as check boxes. This is what you call as the check box. You might have seen a small square here which can be checked and unchecked based on the options the user is going to select. So the user can select multiple options at a time. So if he wants to select only one option, he can check only one, or if he wants more than one option he can check all the check boxes, right? So that is the purpose of having the check button widget. Now this widget, again, this is the syntax: check button, then specify the parent window or the widget, and the list of options can be given, and the list of options as usual will be the key value pairs, which will be separated by commas. Let us see how to create a check button. Before that, what are the list of possible options of the check button? So these are the list of possible options of the check button widget. You can have active background color, active foreground color. So when the check button is under the cursor, so when you keep the check button under the cursor, you can change the background or foreground color. If you want, let us open the Jupyter notebook and let us see how the check button will function. And the background color you can change, and if you want to have a bitmap for this, yeah, let us open this. let us see the checkbox example. This is the checkbox example. So we'll see how the background and foreground colors can be modified. Then the command, so what function is to be called when the state of the check button is changed. So when you check a button, when you uncheck a button, what action is to be performed will be specified by the command option. Then foreground, disable foreground, font, foreground, height, highlight color, image, and justify. This specify the justification of the text if the text contains multiple lines. If you have multiple lines, whether it has to be justified or not, right? Then you have off value, on value, what should be the off value, what should be the on value, the padding values, then selecting the color of the check button when it is set, right? So when you check it, if you want to change it, what should be the color. All these things can be used to specify the list of possible options available on the check button. So these are the different options available. You can try each option and find out what variation you are having on the display, right? And these are some of the methods that are available on the check button, right? So before that, let us see an example. This is a very good example that you can have for the check button. You can observe here, I am creating check button, 4 check buttons. I want to have a window. On the window, I need to have 4 check buttons, check boxes. First one with programming in C, programming in C++, programming in Java, and programming in Python. So like that, I am creating 4 check buttons, right? So tk.check button will create the check button object. Okay. Then you have to specify the parent window. That is why I am giving win as the parent window. Then the text will be what text you want to display here near the checkbox. That is what the text option is. And whenever you are going to check and uncheck the checkbox, you have to maintain a value, right? So when you check it, it becomes 1. When you uncheck it, it becomes 0. Yes or no? The thing is, for each checkbox, when you click and unclick it, a value will be changing. So either it will be 0 or 1. So when the value is changing, I need a variable to specify whether it is checked or unchecked. I need a variable to specify whether it is checked or unchecked. So for which I am going to use an integer variable associated with each checkbox, right? I want to mention whether the checkbox is checked or not. So when I say it is checked or unchecked, obviously it is going to have a variable to store whether the value is a checked value or not. Okay. So what we do in the tkinter, I have a function called intVar, which will be creating an integer variable, and this integer variable can capture the value of the widgets. It can capture the value of the widgets. So for each checkbox widget, I need to associate an integer variable. I need to associate an integer variable so that when the checkbox is clicked, the variable will take value 1. When the checkbox is unchecked, the variable will take value 0. That is the purpose of having an integer variable associated with the checkbox. integer variable associated with a checkbox. So you can see here I have created 4 integer variables. I have created 4 integer variables, and these 4 variables are associated with 4 different checkboxes. They are associated with 4 different checkboxes. So the first variable is called as check button 1 value, second one check button 2 value, third one check button 3 value, check button 4 value. And for the first check button, I am associating this particular variable. Check button 1 value variable is associated with this. And for the second check button, I am associating check button 2 underscore value variable. And for the third check button, if you observe, it takes the third variable check button 3 value, and for the fourth check button the variable will be check button 4 value. So depending upon the value changing here, this variable will hold that particular value. And I specify when it is on, the value will be 1. When it is off, the value is going to be 0. So for all the check boxes, I specify when the button is on, it will take the value 1. When the button is off, it will take the value 0. Okay. So once I have created the check buttons, I simply pack them in a window. So let us see the example in our Jupyter notebook. So this is the program which I had shown you now. When I run this code, I get this. Okay. So when I focus on it, it is highlighting. You can check, uncheck, check and uncheck. This is what you call as checking, unchecking. Check, uncheck, check, right? Check, uncheck. So this is how we can do it. Now we want to see the options. So if we want to see the active background and active foreground color, so let us take the active foreground color. Active foreground equal to, I specify a color here as red. Okay, and let us have active background active foreground color for the second widget as blue. Okay, so now let me run the program and let us see what happens. So when I keep the button on this, the foreground color has been changed to red. When I focus on this, the foreground color has been changed on this, right? So this is what you mean by active background. Or if you want to have variable wrap length, it is all coming as offline, on value and off value, right? So the associated control variable will be set to 1 by default. If the button is checked, we can change the state of the checked variable to some other one. Okay, and if you want, let us see that I try to print checkbox 1 value, right? I try to print the checkbox 1 value which has check button btn 1 underscore value. So this is the variable which is associated with checkbox 1 value, right? So let us try running this. Sorry, I close it. I run it. I am going to change the value, uncheck it, check it, uncheck it. By the time the value will be displayed here, right? So since it is an object, I have to convert it to integer. Let us try. Yes, so the syntax must have a closing parenthesis also. I run the program. Argument must be a string. Okay, since it is an integer variable already, I cannot have the value here. Okay, let me try it with the get function. So initially this value is 0, right? So initially I did not check it. So the off value, it shows like it is 0. I get the value of this. Okay. And if you want to get the value of the checkbox, let us try adding a label. Let us try adding a label here. I am going to create a label. What I am going to do, I am going to write a function. I write a function, define selected value, right? So I write a function here, and please observe. So in the function, what I am going to do, I am going to assign the value. I am going to assign the value. I say if the check button 1 underscore value, check button 1 underscore value is the integer variable which we have created, dot get equal to 1. Then I am going to create a label. I am going to create a label. So the label will be on the window, right? So I am going to create a label on the window. If you have not specified, automatically it will go to the parent window. Then you say text equal to C has been selected dot back. Okay, and to avoid the confusion, you can have the function here, then you can add the command as this particular function. I am going to add the command as cell underscore value. Okay, so let us just try running this program. I run this program, there is an error. Okay, it's not a semicolon, it must be a colon. Okay, I run this code and I get it. I am going to click on this. Label is not defined, I'm sorry, because it must be label. I run the program again, and I'm going to select it, label, oh sorry, because I have to say tk dot, yes, fine. I run it again. Let us see what happens now. It says C has been selected, right? So if I click on this, C is not selected. If I click on this, it says it has been selected. Okay, and in the same way, you can also have if check button true value, then you can say C++ has been selected, and again to the second check button also I am going to add the command. You add the command. So when I run it, so the colors are changing. I click on this, it says C has been selected. When I click on this, it says C++ has been selected. Why it is doing both second time also? Because it is already checked. Okay, so this is how the checked and unchecked value can be retrieved in the check boxes into, and the values are assigned to the variable, and these variable can be retrieved by using the get method, so that you can understand whether it is 0 or 1. And one more thing that we can do here is we can have only one label, so that again and again we remove that label and we are going to update the text of that particular label. This is also possible. Okay, you can create a label here, and after adding all these things, only when it is called you are going to change the text value of that particular label. That is also possible. So this is one good example that you can have, and these are the different methods that are available for the check button. We have a deselect method. This method is called to turn off the check button. So if you are already checked the checkbox, and if you want to turn off the checkbox inside the program, not by clicking it, inside the program you want to turn it off, something like you want to reset all the checkboxes. In those cases you can use the deselect use this deselect function. The same way, if you want to turn on all the check button, you can use the select function. Then the invoke method will invoke the method, whichever method is associated with that particular check button. You can invoke it using the invoke method. Then flash method, the check button is flashed between active and normal colors, right? So it is something like flashing, or just what do you call, like just projecting it in the window. Then toggle, it is used for toggling between different check buttons, right? So if you want to toggle between different check buttons, you can use the toggle method. So these are some of the methods available in the check button. The next widget is entry widget. Let us discuss entry widget in our next session. Thank you.